Hey, look, you made it. Thanks. And make sure you give yourself a like on this video and leave a comment underneath whenever I say something that you might agree or disagree with. Now let's go to the video.
You go through struggles in life, and the struggles are tied to your purpose. And me having to go through so many mental health issues and struggles, it's because it's supposed to play a role in my life, and I'm supposed to use what I've learned to help others that do choose to find it important. We may not have gone through what our parents went through, but there's something called generational chains. Trauma is passed down. Even when it comes to how your mother responded to things. As a child, you notice and you pick up on those. Adults, you notice and you pick up on those. And you're gonna end up passing it down until you choose to be the one in your family that heals the generational chains that have been passed down. You're gonna keep passing it on.
Hiya! Look at you! You know what you just done? You made it to another edition of the Simon Says podcast right here where we shoot at Twiver Studios, where they help you as a business person. You know what they do? They actually give you a platform in which you can actually showcase your products, and you can reconnect with other influencers who are there, who can actually showcase your products also and get you those returns on investments. You know you like that ROI. Yes, indeed. That's what Twiver does. If you want to reach out to them, they're right there, www.twiver.com. And someone who came on back to have a conversation that will make you smile and think at the same time. This is Elodie.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You're alive and well.
I'm alive and
No,
well.
I'm saying you are alive and well.
It's been so long since I last saw you.
Exactly.
Too many years.
Too many years.
I
Over a
missed your
decade.
vibration. It's been over a decade.
Yeah, almost a decade.
I've known this guy for a decade.
Too long.
Too long.
But then let me ask you an honest question. How are you mentally?
I don't think you can ever be 100%. I think like working on your mental health is something that you do throughout your life. But for not me, I'm chilling, good vibrations, positive thinking. That's all. That's all.
Do you have to, because even when you say positive thinking, the one thing even many people even have is like, what is it? Do you have to purposefully search for that positive thinking? Like, how do you even get yourself in that mindset yourself?
So this is gonna be really weird. Like I'll look at myself in the mirror and have like say affirmations. Sometimes when I feel my energy tanking, I'll take a moment, even go to the toilet and pretend I'm taking a dump and sit on the toilet seat and just say, you know, I'm happy, I'm positive, and just kind of reaffirm it.
The toilet seat is very sacred.
Guys, the toilet seat is sacred.
Hey, that's
if the wall is clean, just like put your forehead and just breathe. I'm telling you, this shit works.
It works.
It works.
And the toilet seat even gets you the wild thoughts that you even get on the toilet seat.
Whether you're releasing or whether you're just on the seat itself, I'm telling you.
The one thing I say, the most therapeutic place can be the toilet seat because you're letting some shit go and to allow new shit to come in.
Fantastic.
Literally. That is literally what it is.
Quote. You need that quote.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's a key thing. So even now, when you actually you're saying that even you get yourself in a mindset where you actually have to talk yourself. Do you have to do this like constantly every day or only every day?
Every single day.
How do you make that a routine?
I mean, I feel like when you get to the point where you're at such a low, you'd rather make it a routine than allow yourself to get to that low again. So every morning I'll do my stretches and my affirmations. I'll always do like yoga at night, journal every single day. But it doesn't take long. If you do it daily, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Got you.
It doesn't take so long.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the main reason why I even got you is primarily, even one thing I've thought about is when it comes to mental health, everybody's talking about it. You have heard about it. You have heard about it. Everybody has heard about it, especially when it comes to mental health. I'm getting the sense, do you think the talk about mental health is a little bit overrated?
I don't think it's overrated. If anything, I feel like it's not done enough.
Why?
And if it is being done, it's not being done right. Like I feel like a lot of people even find depression kind of trendy these days. Like, oh, I've been so depressed. Even things like, you know, self-harm and whatnot. It's almost, romanticized in the media these days. And so people find it cool.
Not even the media. Even I would say even a lot of creators like you. Like, no, wait, now listen, it's okay. Literally, like creators like you, and even maybe even somebody even through this discussion, sometimes you actually, when you're talking about your experience, someone might feel like, oh, it's somewhat like, okay, in a weird way, like, okay, talking about depression is actually now seem like if you're not going through depression, are you really going through anything in life?
That's a very interesting point, yeah. So it's like, say that again, if you're not going through depression...
Or even anxiety, like are you really then going through the quirks of life?
I get what you mean. And that's why I feel like it's not being spoken about in the right way.
Okay, what do you mean? Like what have you seen, like, okay, apart from the romanticizing, what should be something that people should focus on, especially when you talk about mental health?
I think people should focus on, if they're not going through it, focus more on things like symptoms and people around you. And different things that can happen because of it. Let me give an example because I feel like that didn't make any sense.
It's okay. I'm glad you noticed.
Oh my God. So like, for example, depression, right? One of the things that might happen is people might let their houses just go to complete trash. You don't clean up, you don't do laundry, there's a dirty pile of dishes. You almost start living in an unhygienic way. Little things like that, I feel like people should take note of, so that if you yourself are not going through depression, you might be able to pinpoint a friend or a family member that is. So look at things like symptoms, look at things like causes from an actual educational point of view, not things like 13 reasons why. You know?
I get you. Because like pointing out like usually people bring it out like in point form, so on and so forth. Now, how would you, because everybody like talks about the whole negative aspect like mental health and everything. What is a good state of mental health? Like not even definition wise. How would you say like, okay, I'm in a good state of mental, like how would you define that? Like how would you put that?
If you're feeding yourself daily, if you feed your physical body, you feed your creativity, you work on a new skill and hobby, and you pay attention to your emotional system and how you're wired, I feel like that would be enough. So if you look at your physical health, work out, do some kind of workout. If you're not into that stuff, maybe go for a walk. That's fed your physical body. When it comes to your creativity and your emotions, maybe if you're an artist or you're a musician, feed into that every single day. What else? When it comes to like your mental health, whether it's meditating or journaling, feed into that every single day. So every aspect of like the human self, if you can do something little every single day to feed that, I feel like that would be the best way that you'd be able to.
And even I love it. Yeah, that makes sense. I love even how you broke it down, because now that the thing is now people would say, would you say that, you know how people, us guys right now, I would say even our generation, we're like, when we get adulting, we're like, oh Lord, and now I'm adulting. Would you say like when adulting hits, usually there's a shock for now me to get mental state properly, because now you're dealing with new problems and you're mentally now trying to structure yourself in a way, how can you handle these new obstacles without actually crumbling?
I think it's not even about adulting. I think you should start from the minute you're born. Like, I don't know why we're...
How can you deal with mental health when you're born? Where you just basically sucking your nipple?
No!
What the heck? You're just basically sucking your nipple.
Why did a nipple image pop into my mind when you said that? No, but like parents are so keen on like getting us through school and whatnot. They should put the same amount. They should invest in things like mental health the same way they invest in things like your education. I remember watching this one video on TikTok of a mom, and whenever the kid did something wrong, instead of like whooping the kid's ass the way African households, she created a little... My mom used to like spank my hair like, what are you doing? And that traumatizes you. But this mom had actually created a little corner in their house where she had different colors, because you know color therapy.
Yes.
Different colors, and then
different feelings and everything. Yes.
Yeah, and so whenever the kid would have like a shit fit or do something that would go against, you know, what the parents want the kid to do, he'd be sent to the corner. He'd have to do breathing exercises, look at a specific color to help with therapy, and then have a discussion after. This allows the child to learn how to actually process emotions, process discipline, and process what is right or wrong, as opposed to just smacking your kid in the head and saying, stop it.
You know what you just said? That sounded so white to so many people.
Oh my God!
You know me, I call it out. That sounded so white. Yes, go stand in the corner and look at the colors.
Yeah,
pause.
Let me not justify.
Okay, go ahead.
That is why the suicide rates, especially with men, Kenyan men, is through the roof. It sounds white, but look at how we are as adults now. We're fucking broken, man.
Pause. Now, let me go deeper on that one, because now you said suicide. I'm glad even you brought it here. Now, the main thing is this. We have many other ways that we are dying, by the way. Suicide is not the majority of ways that we are dying. That's what I mean. Like, we have other things that we're worried about. Like, okay, we're dying because you were shot. Nairobi here, you're being mugged. Because even other people are worried about them losing their mind. We can lose our senses just by walking in Nairobi streets. You just lose it to a thief.
Very true.
That's the main thing. So I'm wondering, like, because there are so many other ways to die. You know, life is a big scope of things. Mental health is just like one scope of it all. We're busy trying to, like, you know, attack the world, and then now seeing it in the best way with which we can actually thrive. Now, when you mention about even men, about the reason why we're even dying, what do you think that us guys, maybe let's go there, what do you think that us guys, even me as a guy, that we should do to become more mentally stronger?
What should you as men?
More or less, because you mentioned that we're dying. Yeah. So what do you think that we should?
I mean, you know, it's different depending on where you are, depending on your upbringing. Also, if you look at like, what is it called? something hierarchy of needs.
Maslow's hierarchy.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
Whew, that was hard to say. It's going to be different for everyone. But I genuinely believe that if someone can at least put 2 minutes a day to sit in silence and introspect, that is the beginning of everything.
You mentioned meditation. That's interesting.
Everyone should be meditating. Like, even kids should be meditating. The power it has to help you heal from childhood trauma and manifest is ridiculous.
How in the world do you meditate and sit there with all my thoughts going on? So, okay, for example, how do you meditate? You just sit there and go,
I mean, you can, but just focus on your...
How do you do it?
So for me, it depends. If I need a moment, I'll just sit in silence and just focus on my breathing. Whenever my mind starts thinking about lunchtime or my clothes or this or this or this, just bring it back to the breath and literally just set a timer, 2 minutes. I'm sure everyone can take 2 minutes out of their day to sit in silence with their thoughts.
What does it help you do yourself?
It recenters you. When it comes to your emotions, it stabilizes it. It allows you to also view yourself from like a bird's eye view, like view yourself from a third person, where you can almost detach from messed up situations. It helps you heal with stress. It helps you deal with meditation, so many things, both spiritually, religiously, and scientifically. Now, it just depends on your belief system.
That's interesting because you say when you meditate, I see you're saying you count your breaths and you actually do that.
Yeah.
Now, with meditation, it actually calms you down. You're able to see a little bit of clarity. Is that the main thing that it gives you that? So now, how do you ever reach a point at which is meditation just a leeway for you to reach just like for example, like a little dose, for example, I may jog, I may go for a jog. There's a place when you're actually jogging for so long, you just zone area. There's that way.
That's a form of meditation.
That's
as
a
well.
form?
Yeah, Muhammad Ali used to do that. His running was his form of meditation.
Okay. Yeah. Now, when you actually do that, can you ever say that you're mentally strong?
Yeah.
How would you be able to do that based on like what is it, your actions? What do you do? How would you say that I'm mentally strong because of?
I think everyone's definition of mental strength is different, but when it comes to mine, I believe that I'm mentally strong when I can keep my eye on the goal despite the noise around. The noise around could be anything. It could be guys online being haters. It could be not having enough money and I'm trying to get to a specific project. It could be going through a breakup and yet I'm still trying to get to this goal. Just anything negative or noisy around you. That ability to keep that focus, I would say that's what keeps me mentally strong. I believe I'm mentally strong now despite still struggling with depression. Yeah.
Why would you say you're still struggling with depression? Would you say that depression may be just an instant that appears where you're feeling sad? It's not necessarily depression, or why would you call it depression if you have instances where you actually overcome that?
So there's different types of depression. There's about 7 types of depression, but when it comes to mine, it tends to happen in like episodes. So I'll be on like a high and I'll be chilling, and then I'll have like a 2-week period where I cannot function. I can't clean my house, I can't get out of bed. Even a simple task like waking up, you wash your face, you brush your teeth. It's the routine for everyone, and I cannot do it. And it's weird that you brought it up because I had an episode about a week ago and I filmed the whole thing because I wanted to review and look over like, who do I become? It's so out of character, but I can't help it. Like getting out of bed is such a task.
Is it out of character or is it maybe a part of you that you do not like?
I mean, I think I've learned to love every part of myself, even the things that society may say is bad. But for me, for lack of a better word,
what is a side of you that maybe you love, like society may see as bad? Your dark side?
No, do I even have a dark side? What is a dark side anyway?
The side where you can be toxic and even people might view it.
Oh yeah, I have my toxic moments, unapologetically. But it's part of who I am. And the fact that you can love such a side speaks so much volume about you. So yeah, shade, if you find me toxic, that's cool. But I love every bit of myself,
It's a bit, but okay, that's cool. Loving every bit of yourself. Then now, see that point where you're saying that of course, there's some things that you look back and you're like, okay, so this is who I am. Because you actually like viewing it by journaling. You write stuff down like all that time.
I have a whole pile of journals. It is ridiculous.
Why do you do that?
Because it helps you understand your brain. When you're handwriting, not typing or on a computer, when you handwrite, it forces you to slow down. You can have a million thoughts in a second, but it slows you down. So in your mind, it's like you're viewing your thoughts and your actions from third person, if that makes sense. The way I'm viewing you right now, that's how you view your own mind when you start to journal.
And now reading it can be a problem though.
Yeah, reading it can be really hard. Some of my journals I cannot open.
Why?
Because I feel like it'll tap back into a part of me that I've healed that I don't need to bring back to my conscious mind. It's done.
Why don't you look at it like, I'm so proud of the person I've become now, that this was me then. It's just more or less like a, but then because I'm sensing that when you read it, you actually take yourself back to that same scenario.
I'm such a visual person, as are you as a creative.
Of course, yeah. So you now put yourself, immerse yourself back into that.
Yeah, and then I'll go to bed and I'll be like, oh my God, on January 3rd, 1901, this happened. Like, why are you taking yourself all the way back? Unless there's a purpose, you know, maybe you're trying to do shadow work or there's something else you're trying to heal from. But if not, then I wouldn't say I'd want to reopen my journals.
Oh,
yeah.
Immerse yourself into that drink real quickly as I remind guys that indeed we're still here at Twiver Studios, and I also remind you that indeed this is actually a platform that you can actually even come. You as a creative, you also want to actually go out there and make some money, and you want to connect with business people. But you're like, where do I do this? Well, guess what? Twiver's got your back. Just visit them, www.twiver.com. They got you in the sense that they can connect you with business people who are out there in need of you and your audience, so that you can actually get some ka-ching, so you can actually show them that bling, and you actually be happy, okay? So make sure you check them out, www.twiver.com. And as you were even telling me about even journaling and everything, because that's found something that I personally, I don't even find that, I don't know how you know, everybody's journey is a little different.
Yeah.
And everybody's way of dealing with attaining a sense of mental stability is a little different.
Yeah.
What would you say to people who feel like this generation is a little bit soft because you guys are busy complaining about the problems that you guys got instead of finding solutions to the problems?
You said, what would I tell?
Say, guys, you know, for example, guys may say, oh, you're busy talking about mental health. Well, Gwenda, mental health did not just start yesterday, so we've also been dealing with other issues. They've had a harder life. Our parents have had a harder life than us.
They have.
Correct.
Yeah, they have.
Exactly. But we're the ones talking about mental health as if we've gone through Holocaust or something like that. Now, when you are actually talking about mental health, which you are very outspoken about usually a lot, how do you respond to people who say, you're soft, get it together? What's up with you?
Yeah. No, I mean, people will have those opinions, which is totally okay. The same way they'd have opinions about any other topic. But I think you go through struggles in life, and the struggles are tied to your purpose. And me having to go through so many mental health issues and struggles, it's because it's supposed to play a role in my life, and I'm supposed to use what I've learned to help others that do choose to find it important. We may not have gone through what our parents went through, but there's something called generational chains. Trauma is passed down. Even when it comes to how your mother responded to things. As a child, you notice and you pick up on those. Adults, you notice and you pick up on those. And you're going to end up passing it down until you choose to be the one in your family that heals the generational chains that have been passed down. You're going to keep passing it on.
Is trauma an excuse for bad behavior, though?
People can use it as an excuse. Yeah. But don't be a dumbass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also take it, Go ahead.
Because, that's what you're saying. Because people say, but I'm traumatized by whatever. No, you're traumatizing me with that question. I'm like, what the heck are you saying?
Yeah.
Like, because there's also a leeway. I mean, because even when you say about trauma, how have you been able to discover like some things that have given you trauma in your past?
Oh, for sure.
Like, what would you say that you have worked on? How have you overcome your past trauma?
That is like giving an example specific. That's a brilliant question. There've been so many.
Jesus Christ, you sound traumatic.
That's why I need to bloody write.
Trauma.
This is the photo. This is the look of trauma.
The face of trauma is right here, people.
My God.
But seriously, what have you overcome?
I'm going to say this whilst being a bit cocky because I feel like healing from it has
Talk
made me
with your
cocky.
chest. Talk with your chest.
So a lot of people out here will bully and attack you because they see a strength in you. And I'm sure it's happened to you as well. You're good at something and someone will try to put you down because they themselves are not. And they may do it by, I don't know, physically attacking you, by mentally like psyching you out over time, whatever. And I think a lot of things that I was good at growing up, especially in my early teen years, a lot of the girls in my school attacked it. And they attacked it during a time where I was also going through puberty and trying to figure out who the hell am I to begin with. And so I kind of suppressed all of these things. Like instead of going for it, you know, in the race or going for it in a music exam or going for it to get the lead role in a play, just as an example, I silenced myself and I made myself seem smaller, which we have all done. You shrink yourself, you shrink your light. But just kind of reflecting on the fact that they squeezed the life out of me because they didn't have any of their own. Reflecting back on that and teaching myself to be confident in my skills, to be confident in how I speak, to be, you know, at the forefront if I feel like I can do it. I think that's been a really huge thing.
What would you say is the core essence? Because even when you mentioned about now seeing, here's the only pushback I'll give on that.
Right.
When you have the perception of someone else maybe giving a negative response to something that you're doing, and now when you now view them as quote unquote lesser than, and then you're seeing yourself like they are just seeing me in this way because they cannot relate with my quote unquote level of like even understanding or something like that. That can make you very prejudicial in the sense that, can you also see that people would just don't like you because it could just be a hair, it could just be something very small, and how do you, and then even me saying that, how do you usually respond to like hate? Mentally, how do you respond to yourself when you get that hate, negative response? Like right now, let's not then, like right now, how have you reached right now responding to like hate comments, and mentally, how do you process that?
Well, to look at the first part of your question, why I said what I said, I think, is because I understand now that people's actions is a reflection of their internal world. Everything that you do and put out, everything that you see is actually a reflection of what already exists in you. So by the time you're taking the time out of your day to put me down, whether or not you know what you're saying might be true, if you're taking the time to put someone else down, it's a reflection that you yourself have no self-love, have no self-confidence.
Or you reflect back to them something that they do not like in themselves.
Or he's smart.
You should
be a mental health advocate with me. Yeah.
There's that, and then there's that, and it has very little to do with yourself.
Yeah.
So when did you reach that level of detachment, detaching their comments from that emotional connection?
I think Kenya's on Twitter took me to that point. I've been bashed online over the years so much. I had no other bloody choice but to like become detached. Make sure you have that support system. Even if your support system is 1 or 2 people, you don't need a whole gang, a whole village. But yeah, I think attacks from like Twitter, I think attacks from even family members and friends over the years.
Well, that one hurts more.
You have no choice.
Which hurts more?
They all, I mean, now that I'm an adult, I would say attacks from loved ones hurt more. But at the same time, attacks online and just attacks from anywhere can hurt. Honestly.
What was your first response immediately when an attack was coming? What's your first response?
Turn off my phone. Turn off my computer. No one has access to me unless we're friends or we're together. Like actually, when something bad is happening, that's when I really try to enjoy and live my life, because you can sink. The world can be so harsh, you can sink. And so that's the time I'll, maybe go out and have lunch with friends, or I'll go crash at my mom's house for like a week, spend some family time together. That's when
You're looking for energy to actually just refuel your spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. Even when you say even that happens to you, because right now you behave differently when you get online criticism, correct? Because you're in a different state of mind.
Yeah.
How would you say you're now, at this moment in time, that even as you're progressing as a human being, you're so interested in these mental things, but why?
Because I was going to say something so deep. Like, I almost lost my life before I started giving a fuck about it. And so now, from the minute I wake up to the minute I put my head on that pillow, my mental health is the only thing that I'm focused on.
You're saying that it's very important for you.
By the time you hit that low, it like spikes something in you. And now I'm so focused on it.
Are you right now, based on what you say, how would you define would your younger version be able to like even recognize you right now?
Oh my God, it's crazy you asked that question. So I did a journaling prompt the other day where I had to like look back on like a painful time in my life and write to that version of myself. So I had to write a letter to 14-year-old me. Bro, if you saw that I was crying, you know that crying where there's makamasi, you just like breaking down.
I can totally see you doing it.
We
got that one.
Oh my God, it was so scary. And I can't even read it.
Why?
Because it was so traumatic. I wrote a letter to myself when my depression first kicked in, when I first got diagnosed. But I think having written that and doing all the work that I have done, shadow work is what I call it, I think little me, baby L, would be like proud.
Shadow work, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I want to understand that a little bit better.
Yeah.
When you mention shadow work, what is actually involved? Is it that you're recalling your past actions? What are you doing exactly?
So you have your conscious mind and you have your subconscious mind, right? Your subconscious mind is things that you naturally do or say without even realizing. So your subconscious mind has bits of yourself that you don't realize are there. You're not fully conscious of it. It could be good things or it could be bad things. There's parts of yourself that you've suppressed. Let me give an example of something good. If you're a girl and you grew up in a very traditional society where men are the ones that rule, women are supposed to stay silent, and yet you're born a girl that's very confident and outspoken, you will suppress that side of you.
Because of
your surroundings, right? So that's pushed into your your subconscious mind, what we call the shadow self. So it's there, but you're not conscious it's there. So by doing shadow work, you're looking at meditation or you're looking at journaling prompts that allow you to tap into the shadow, the subconscious self. That allows you to bring up negative traits that you can learn to heal, or bring up perfect positive traits that can allow you to be yourself authentically. So shadow work just could be journaling prompts, it could be meditations, it could be talking to yourself even as you look at yourself in the mirror.
So talking to yourself does not mean that you're insane, really.
No, actually I think the best people talk to themselves, but I don't know if I'm saying that because I do that. And I just don't want to look mad.
It's okay, you are insane. But the thing is, but even the thing is, and you are very intelligent, by the way, in case nobody has ever told you.
Please, can you say that one more time?
Cameras,
zoom in.
You are very intelligent. That's actually true. You can re-say thank you.
Thank you.
No, but that's actually a good thing. And one thing even I just want to ask is, when it comes to even shadow work, when you actually now want to understand your subconscious self, now, when you understand this, what are you pursuing? Just yourself. Like even because in all of this, mental health, you're pursuing, what are you pursuing?
An understanding of yourself. And that is something that every single person on this earth needs to have their focus on, understanding yourself. You can't understand anything else unless you know yourself.
Which will give you what?
When you have an understanding of yourself, you're allowed to heal yourself, you're allowed to have focus, you can start aiming for dreams that society told you not to go for. You just live a more happy, more loving, more confident life, which I feel like should be what we're all striving towards, just peace and happiness and balance.
What would you say to this? You see how right now, we in our generation, we have different problems that we deal with because of the different society that we are in, right? So with now us pursuing to understand mental health and everything, is it just because we are seeking to actually become better than our parents in a way? Or what is it that, in a way, is this just a step in the evolution process? What do you say to that?
I think you've just said it. I think it's just about a step in the evolution process. For our parents, it was very much about survival, you know? You can't be talking about mental health when you're trying to figure out if there's going to be food on the table tonight. For those that have been blessed enough, to have a roof over your head and whatnot, then essentially the next step should be, working on the mind. Now, it's tricks because there's a lot of people out there that don't have roof over their head and don't have food on the table. And those are people where, when it comes to mental health, it can be hard to communicate and to get them to find it important. Because there's more important things like food, you know?
Of course. The basic economy.
Literally, yeah. Why are you going to be talking about the mind, your emotions? But
pushback is, even if you don't have the resources, having mental clarity can give you now the vision and actually now steps that you can actually even take towards you even achieving that level of financial stability, even whatever it is that you're pursuing. Would you say that?
I would, and I agree with you, but try convincing someone that's been sleeping on the road for the past 10 years.
What's the biggest pushback you give when you talk about mental health?
I think people refuse to listen to me because I've struggled with mine. Which is messed up, because how can you have someone lead you or inspire you if they have not been through what you have? But the last attack I got was, she's just crazy. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, okay, be dismissive. But again, that has nothing to do with me. That's just you projecting.
But it's okay. But even if they're projecting, do you ever seek to understand where the hate is coming from? And essentially come from a place of understanding. I mean,
I can try and maybe research a bit, but your feelings are not my responsibility. The same way my feelings are not your responsibility. I'm using my struggle and my knowledge to teach those that are interested. But for those that are so fixated on trying to find every fault in what I say, I can't wake up every day trying to please everyone.
But your feelings are my responsibility, they affect me.
Say that, what do you mean?
Your feelings are my responsibility if they affect me.
Yeah.
Because now your feelings might actually instigate you to do some actions that may affect me.
But then again, it depends on who you are. I mean, if we're talking in the general context.
Here's what I mean. For example, if I just see the way we're talking cordially and all of a sudden just shout!
My God, what the fuck?
My feelings. You see?
Good example, guys.
Exactly. So, I mean, can you really just, because there's some things we say, but then now practicality.
So let me sound a bit like an asshole. I feel like that's why I'm a bit detached. Because you literally can't please everyone.
Yeah, you can't go down on everybody.
Yeah, so...
That's what I say. You can't go down on everybody.
You can't go down on everybody, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep your mouths clean. But you have to detach. You have to detach.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like I've detached to the point where some people might even think I'm an asshole, but all it is just me protecting my energy. My energy has to be protected at all costs. And I cannot prioritize another person until it is.
As we even wrap up, what do you think yourself ultimately do you want to reach? Like when you're like maybe say your late 30s, your 40s, how do you want to look at yourself and say, I'm glad of the mental journey that even I took through the process? Like, how do you want to look back at yourself and say, okay, cool?
The fact that I can already do that now at 25, when I reflect back on my journals, I started writing when I was 5. My first journal is from when I was 5. The
You've
fact
been
that
writing.
I know.
And you don't even have arthritis.
But we got the bling and everything,
Yeah, exactly,
you know.
yeah.
But the fact that I can do that now, I feel confident that I'll be able to do it in the future. But again, it starts with self-love. Like, you need to love every aspect of yourself, the good, the bad, the toxic. Once you learn to love even the negatives about yourself, your perception on the world shifts. I call it like a conscious shift. Because now you start seeing love in everything else, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you, okay, that's true, because when you love yourself, you can only like exude. But how have you, okay, what do you love most about yourself is the final question. What do you love most
That
about
is such a good question. Well, physically, I love my nose, but on a deeper level, it's so cute. Y'all, look at this nose, it's gorgeous. But on a deeper level...
Then do your nostrils flare? Aye. That's an unevolved nose. It is emotional. That's the white people's nose. You can't dance. But yes, you're saying your nose. Go ahead.
But like on a deeper level, my favorite thing about myself is my willpower to fight for me. Like the fact that I can wake up and fight for myself every day, even when I'm on a low, I think that's like a really powerful place to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
spoken well. And that's actually, that was good, that was good. Spoken in that somber tone.
Yeah,
Exactly. You had that tone, didn't you?
Hell yeah!
Exactly.
Dramatic effect.
Exactly. And if you want some more of this somber tone and some of this madness and this nose all up in your content, in your face, make sure you check out Elodie Zone right there on her YouTube channel. And guys, I also remind you that she came by right here at Twiva Studios, where they're actually in Hurlingham, where she got lost and took 50 hours before she came up to the third floor, Kose House, where you can actually come by and create content right here and see the guys on the other side of the camera, or visit their website, www.twiva.com. And you know how I end the show? It's like, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate your time. But then now I'm asking you, what are you still doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing? See you go! Bye. See ya. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah, Abu slurped that water, by the way.
Oh my God. I still have to give you that gift. I'm going to change
By the way, there's a gift that she was supposed to give me.
Keep rolling.
Abu, wait a second. Abu, wait.
Can I?
See you guys.
Oh, I thought he was going to throw it.
No, but he didn't throw it.
It's okay. So, my amazing friend over here, you say that you don't journal.
I've never written down.
I want you to try one journaling prompt.
Really? So
On
like
camera.
a day? Like right now?
A day, yeah.
Right now?
So this is actually for you. This is called Meet My Mind. And it is a collection of journaling prompts that I did over a 2 to 3 year period. I chose the best 20. And this is actually what took my vibration and my mental health to a more positive state. Have been able to manifest. Bro, if I show you my journaling entries, my first apartment is a photocopy of things I'd written the year before.
Oh.
Like to the T, the color of the walls, the type of sofa I wanted to
helps you actualize
to manifest.
Okay.
Yeah. So I came up with this journal. It's called Meet My Mind.
All right.
A journal designed to help you heal and create your dream life. So in it,
open it. Let's go.
It's a journal for you, but I want you.
No, okay. Like I swear,
but I want you to try one of the journaling prompts from here.
All right. So literally, does it have like dates and everything?
No. So I mean, you'll fill in the date.
Oh, so literally, the first thing is write to things.
10 things.
Write 10 things. I'm like 2. He says.
No, but that's good. I need feedback on this, by the way, because this is like a sample. So this is not the final one.
Got you.
And there's different prompts.
Oh, that's nice.
And then you have some.
So there are various prompts inside. So she actually has.
Yep.
This is the first time I'm getting a present from someone from a guest. By the way, guest, Abu take notes. Abu take note, guest. Hey, there you go.
But I'd love for you to answer one of them on camera to see if you can reflect.
Oh, you want to ask me a question?
Yep.
All right, go then. Okay, here you go. Go ahead. Okay. Ask me a question.
Let's deal with one. So some of them are for manifesting, some are for healing trauma. So it depends on what you're feeling.
I'll be
as
honest as possible.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Oh Lord, here we go. Ask.
Take a look at the most enjoyable aspect of your life right now. Yeah?
Okay.
Keep that in your mind. What is your underlying fear in that area?
Oh, that's a good one.
Hell yeah.
That's a good one.
Hell yeah.
The most underlying fear is
So this
not being honest. It's not achieving the potential in which I had, the standard in which I had set it.
Then the next question is why? Why do you think that's an underlying fear?
Because underachieving is the utmost. I beat myself up if I underachieve in any aspect of things. And that's a serious thing. And that's why I'm always on motion. You know me, like always next, next, next.
Yeah.
Underachieving is a serious thing that I do not like doing, and that's why that's a fear. Because the fear of underachieving propels me to do more and more and more. That's the real thing.
Now, this would be interesting if you keep writing, because there's more. Once you've said that, we're gonna ask why again, and then why again. So it's actually gonna take you back to your childhood when all of this started, and there's something there that needs to be healed with. So you see the shadow self.
This book is basically like that kid of like why. Well, thank you guys. See, guests. I'm gonna take notes. This is how you actually bring you bring you bring a book on set. But anyway, I really appreciate your balls of eyes. So now you can go. Hey, see you, bye. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate it.
This is all yours.
This is nice. It's brought in a nice bag, by the way.
Yeah, branded and everything. I got you. Thank you for having me.
Cool. I hope it's not a spare one that you just had right there on the desk.
No, I have a whole compilation. So even when you go through these, when you have tips, whatever, send them to me. So this is not the final one, but I've been getting a lot of people's feedback.
And you can get them on our YouTube channel. She even has
I have to market my YouTube. You never know, you might throw the bag and then someone finds it somewhere, then I get a new subscriber.
Hey, yo, branded nicely. All right, cool, guys. Yo, check it. Bye. See ya. Wait, check out our YouTube channel, but it's very interesting. Just a very mind-boggling things there. You might even understand depression in full, and you get depressed, but then you get undepressed. All right, see you guys. Bye.